Sir Daryl Chow, Sir Emerson Matsuuchi, and we're gonna be asking the question:
What is the state
What is the state of Asian game design right now? Any of you guys can do it, and then we'll just ask additional questions from you. You want to start, Sir Daryl?
Okay, hi everybody. So, thanks for coming to Asian Board Games Festival Philippines.
Let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Thank you for I mean, it's a lot more packed than I assumed that it would be. I mean, we've had Asian Board Games Festival in Singapore for I think 7 years now. I mean, there was kind of like a short break during COVID, so we had it 5 times, starting in 2019, and then break for 2021, and then 22, 23, 24, 25, 25. And I think just from my rough estimates, I'm quite sure we will break 5,000 people.
We did? We broke 5,000? We will break 5,000.
I mean, just from my impression.
Right.
Just from being to many, many events, and having to do like rough counts all the time. So that's actually the amount of people that we got in Singapore after like 5 years.
And we did it for
and you did it in the first year. So
good.
I'm very impressed.
Hey, Philippines.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yay for high population. City.
What we can't do in quality, sometimes we can do in quantity.
Yeah, and that being said, actually, it's not just the amount of people. I think the amount of people who actually genuinely come to look for games to buy.
Yes.
So I mean, to be curious is one thing, but to actually come out and actively look for
and
games
support, yes.
and to support all the makers, I'm just blown away by the support
Yes.
that I've seen today. And I've been to many, many events around Asia.
Sir, any thoughts and comments on for today? Or what can you say?
Oh, this is
I think
so. This is my first time here, and it's been very surprising that there's this many people. Yes, so just like Daryl said, I'm surprised to see how crowded and how enthusiastic this audience is.
yes. Now in the Philippines, now the board game industry, we could say, or the board game hobby is actually on an upswing.
It is, but it's still relatively in its infancy.
Yes, and Sir Daryl was also part of Bacon for a couple of years, and that one is a convention where you come to play and invite other people to share the love of board games. But today in Asia Board Game Fest, it's like what Daryl was saying. It's more for the designers, for the different publishers, and then people come in to support and to buy the games that you guys are selling and are designing. So it's really nice to see that it's this plenty of people.
Yeah, and I think the one very different thing between Bacon and here is that I see so many new faces. Because I mean, I've been to Bacon,
Yeah.
I think twice or at least twice.
Twice.
At least twice. And I think both years is almost the same people, but I mean it's still good because they
Yes.
still come and then they come after they buy one game. Usually they come back and then they come and see what you have new. A lot of these people I've never seen.
Yes, new faces. You
Yeah.
should come to you should visit us sometime with Bacon if you're
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'd love to.
group. So, what can you say about our game designers in Asia? Are they at par with West? Because there's a stigma before that Western designers are better, Asian designers need more practice, need more work. I think we're doing great, right, from everyone's designers. But I wanna see your point of view as people who made it there with the games published worldwide. What can you say?
So, before what actually made me want to become a board game designer, I think the very first thing that I remember that's kind of like the kickstart or the impetus behind being really impressed was when I saw an Asian name on a box. So I remember very clearly it's a Seiji Kanai love letter. Because you play the game and it's a very unique game. It's you can see everyone playing at that time. I think, especially this was a time when people still bought every game that came out.
Try everything, buy everything.
So you can see, just to see an Asian name on the box, you'll be like, oh,
I can relate.
it's not a Western name.
Yes.
So, it's like, I don't know why, but like it was really a very strong impact on me to know that someone who looks like me, someone who maybe grew up like me, is actually making games that are for a Western audience, and Western audience are just buying it, and you can see it in everyone's house. I think that was the one thing that really inspired me, and actually, because I had a panel just like this at ABGF last year in Singapore, and I had Sashi and I had Hisashi Hayashi on stage with me. And they also gave me examples. I mean, not just Seiji Kanai. It's always like the pioneers, right? Like the first few Asian designers to get their games licensed by a Western publisher. And then everyone will be like, oh, actually, I can do that also.
Yes.
If I put my mind to it, if I try hard enough. And I think that was the first wave, like all the pioneers, like the Seiji Kanai, Susumu Kawasaki, for example, R-Eco. There's a few more. I mean, I don't know if you can think of those. Or Hisashi Hayashi for like Rolling Japan.
Yes.
I mean, those, or Sail to India at that time. So there were publishers like TMG that were actually looking actively for Asian games to publish in the West. Unfortunately, TMG is no longer with us, but there are new reincarnations of TMG, like All Play, for example. All Play, I think half of their catalog is actually designed by Asian designers. And now it's not a rare thing anymore. Like, you can see so many large companies have Asian, mostly Japanese, but it's really not rare to see Asian names on boxes anymore.
Sir?
So one of the things I really want to emphasize is that there's a lot of context here. So when they say Western designers are better, that's not the case. It's more that they've had a long history of designing games, right? So whereas here in the Philippines, it's fairly new hobby, right? It's becoming more mainstream. And so because of that, so just bear in mind, in Europe, this has been a hobby that's been cultivated for many decades, right? So if you have that same level, now this is my opinion, that if you have that same level of cultivation here in the Philippines, you're going to have a lot of incredibly talented Filipino designers.
Right now we do. And they have great games
You
too.
absolutely do. So I'm really encouraged by and really impressed by a lot of the designs that I see from local Filipino designers. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time as this industry grows here, as the hobby gets cultivated here, that we're going to see a lot more talent here. So, have faith that it's really just a matter of the context that the designers are in, right? So as this hobby grows, we're going to see a lot more talent come from here.
That's very nice to hear, and it's very something to look forward to. And sometimes I know we went to SN and we sold a few games from the Philippines also, and it was also somebody picked it up also. I think it's BNB who picked up one of Filipino games, and then they also published it there. So you're right. It might be a couple of years more. But the talent is there. Everything is right there.
Yeah, actually, you might also the Filipinos might actually have an advantage, because as Western designers, we tend to go in a certain rut. Like, we get so familiar with certain types of designs, right?
That's interesting.
So as a designer, what I do primarily is I explore design space. But the more you work in this industry, the more like it's sort of like the expert mind, right? So the expert mind, it's
like an echo chamber in a way.
Exactly, you create this echo chamber, but because Filipinos, this is fairly new, right? They still have the advantage of the beginner's mind, right? you can explore design space that we've never thought of before, right? So there's going to be more innovation with designers who haven't been exposed to all of sort of like the
Conventions.
yes.
Yeah, the conventions.
Right? Like, so for instance, like worker placement, deck building, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of designers are so focused on existing mechanics, whereas like new designers have the opportunity to kind of like explore different space just because they haven't been exposed to as much, right? So Filipinos should definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're trying to do also here, cultivating and supporting our local artists. And I don't know if you've played some of the designs, but they have that few niches that are not in the mainstream mechanics.
Yes, yes,
Or maybe
absolutely.
combining two different ones and producing a new one.
Right, exactly.
Or maybe just making another thing better. So I think we have
especially
that
the
one.
themes too, right?
That's the next thing. The themes for the Asian context are also good. There are a lot to explore.
Yeah, there's a rich tapestry of
Yes.
culture. Culture alone, or even cuisine. Just
Like
the
the food
food.
again.
There's always this friendly rivalry between SG and Malaysia, especially in terms of food. You can just make a game highlighting the
Right.
cuisine, and there's something there already.
Even I saw, I know it's from Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. The art that they're using, it's really intricate and very detailed, and it looks really nice.
Yeah.
And that's just, we're talking about the art, but also the culture with some of Daryl's games. Like he explained to us earlier, the 108
The 108 Outlaws.
Outlaws, it's Chinese
Based
history.
based on the Chinese.
And it's
that-
Asian history, and you can make lots of games out of that one. And the food, the way we live with the apartments, the way how we hang our things, everything you can explore.
Yeah, so I think as, because Western games, they are very, I wouldn't say like, they're very international. So, but when you are too international, you kind of lose a bit of your soul. I think
Okay.
when you have the Asian games, because when we make games about our stories, about our own culture,
Exactly.
that gives us a passion to want to include as much as we can about the stories, about
Yes.
the culture. I think that there are definitely many people, including at Essen or people who are looking for games. People who get into the hobby, they may be, after a while, they may get a bit sick of the anesthetized games that are
Yeah.
very cut and dried. And then they're looking for games that are a bit more unique, a bit that tell more stories. I think that's kind of so like the slogan that we use for Asian Board Games Festival is play your way through Asia.
Yeah.
So you can tell it's kind of, it's not really kind of distinguished by country, but I think once you are familiar with all the publishers and you play the games, you kind of know where they're from.
That's true.
And you can start to learn about their food, their culture, their stories, their history. And I think that's the one thing that's great about indie games. Like we don't need to censor ourselves
Right.
to
please
to
the-
conform.
yeah,
You don't
to,
have
to
to
conform
conform.
to sell to a larger market.
Right.
We just need to sell to people who look like us, to people who appreciate the same thing as us, and I think that even sometimes that could be enough already.
Right. Sorry, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, so when it comes to like understanding your market too, right? So as I said, there's a lot of themes out there that could be centered around the culture. And I think Filipinos, don't be afraid to make games about your culture, right? Celebrate it, right? So this is where you're going to have very unique products. There's going to be things that you can add value to the industry as a whole, right?
Right.
So there's a game about Sinigang, and I'm still looking for it. I want to buy this game. It's about Sinigang, right? Because
Yeah,
I love
I've heard
Sinigang.
about this.
Yeah,
Hearing
so I
that-
have to go and find this game.
Sinigang. All right. We're trying to. We'll look for it. See where we can find that. But yeah, there are other games also here, like the Halo Halo. It's also
Right, exactly. Halo Halo.
Filipino food is right there. Also, you can get that. So it's not just food. Even even the animals, like I was comparing, I remember it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We have talangkaan, the small crabs, and then tayog, the birds. And then you have your game with the different creatures. So it's like, it's nice to see that you don't see this in the Western games. You see it here. And it's like, oh look, that's a rat.
And it becomes a cultural export.
Yes.
Because let's face it, a country like America, their main export is culture, and we are now in an age
And
where
violence. Our
Well,
other
yeah.
export is violence.
well, that's part of their culture, unfortunately. But
They have to make money somehow.
But that's the point. It's time we exported back to them,
Yes.
and it's and we're sending our best. That's what I think. We're sending our best, and I feel that I guess I wanna ask, like, how big of a role does formal education play at this point? Because I don't think that's still there, even in the US, even in the West. I don't think formal education is a high requirement towards game design. How do you guys feel about that?
I'll speak on this because I actually teach game design. So as someone who didn't finish college, so I actually never finished college. And in fact, when I was going to college, game design wasn't a major. It did not exist as a major. So everything I learned about game design, I learned through trial and error, learned through just playing games. So it is absolutely a field, a discipline that doesn't have any prerequisites at all, right? So as long as you have vision, you have a creative mind, you have persistence, you have motivation, and you have ambition, right? So those are the things that are going to be more relevant to getting into game design than any sort of analytical discipline that you can learn in a college setting.
Because earlier we had a guest, and it was a subject on game design, and they were talking about the psychology about it and how you're gonna do things. But it's also nice to hear that yes, sometimes it will help, but not really a requirement. There's another alternative, like what you said, persistence, determination, and the ones that I want to get this through. I'm gonna do whatever I could. So it's like,
I mean, conversely, I actually have a PhD.
Wow.
But
nice contrast.
but game design requires so much more from you than when I was doing my PhD. Like, I feel like the people doing game design are way smarter than people that were getting PhDs and were in the PhD program. I think the magic of making games is it requires so many skill sets that you can never learn, even if you do take, say, a game design course. Like, you need math, you need sociology, you need
Yes.
economics,
Yes.
you need graphic design, you need marketing, you need fine arts, you need illustration.
Yes.
There's so many skills that can all come into play when you make games. So I think that's the fun part. I mean, it's also, of course, a challenging part because no one's going to have all of these skills. But you're going to have to learn all of these skills when you make games, no matter what.
You know what's really interesting, though, is that it doesn't matter what your expertise is, right? You can actually leverage any type of background that you have into your game design.
Okay.
So I'll give an example. So there was a game designer that I had met at a convention. His day job, he was a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
So when I saw his game prototypes, they had these gears, they had like these plastic sliding marbles through it.
You knew he was a mechanical engineer.
He was a
but-
mechanical engineer, so he's using his background, right? So I know of a lawyer that created a game that was about like the legal system. So you can always use your background and turn that into a game, right? Because everyone's got a fascinating story. They've got
Yes.
knowledge that they have that they want to share to the world. So it's essentially, I think anyone can be a game designer, right?
Yeah, you can use board games as a medium to tell your story.
Exactly.
your
It's
cultures.
it's another medium, say like books, movies, TV.
Yeah, and Asian culture has a lot of stories. Especially Filipinos are a culture of storytellers. We have
Yeah.
oral tradition, so that's really one way to tell stories, play the games,
It's a very immersive medium
Yes.
to tell stories.
and it tells you. Also, when you play board games, you immediately find out about the person, who he is, without even just let's sit down, play a game. What's your culture? We're gonna find something common. Let's agree on this, and then come out as friends after that board game. So it's magical, and what do you think will we're in the next 5 years? Where would the Asian board game scene be? Wishful thinking, or where do you see it going?
Okay, I'm going to pass this over to you, Daryl.
Okay, so I mean, this is our fourth country for the Asian Board Games Festival. So Singapore's the first one, and then Thailand, and then Malaysia, and now Philippines, and I think Vietnam is coming next, and possibly Korea. So all of these places, they're all so different. You know, like all of these events all the Asian Board Game Festivals. I mean, of course, we have a lot of Asian publishers that go to all of them, but all the local publishers in each country, they're all very enthusiastic to have a chance to. I mean, just talking to like some of the Filipinos, I think they were very surprised, in fact, that there was so many Filipino makers that actually use this opportunity to come out to quickly put together a game, and then even if it's just to demo or to just get people's feedback. And I think events are really the best way to kind of foster this community spirit, to kind of just to kind of galvanize people to get together, to play games together. And I think if any of you enjoy the Philippines one, you can really think about going to the different ABGFs, especially the main one, the big one in Singapore. Because
In November, right? If I'm not to say
but
November.
we're not that far away. Like it's only like 2-3 hour flights away from all of the ABGFs in the region. And I'm looking forward so much now to the next year's one, because you're just seeing the amount of enthusiasm for this year's events.
Yes.
I think hopefully it's like exponential growth every year.
Yeah, like what Sir Freddy said earlier, to more board game festivals in the Philippines.
What do you think has to happen within those next 5 years for that vision to not just come true but exceed your expectations?
I mean, there are many different types of expectations. So like for industry to be good, first you need the market to exist. You need the creators in the industry to exist. And then ideally you will also kind of want demand from like external markets to kind of help to support as well. I think in terms of the creator market in the industry, it's still very new, because like even when I was at Baycon, I think we didn't have any or very few Filipino booths that were creating games. That's why I'm very surprised that there are so many now, and I'm very sure next year
More.
there will be double at least,
More.
and then next year double that.
This does not look like a first eight. I mean,
yeah.
this does not
This is
look
our
like this is
first
the
year,
first
sir.
one. Yeah, this does not look like a first year, right?
Yay! That's an encouragement.
Look at this crowd here.
And it's non-stop, and they're all into it. Look.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's double next year, we can't have this venue anymore. Like we need a new venue already next year.
And you can tell they're really into it. I mean, they're not even
Yes.
listening to me. They're just like focused on their games. They're like, we don't care.
No, it's going into their subconscious. Don't worry. Remember that.
It will
I mean,
permeate them.
I've done many talks at ABGS and no one listens to me anyways. But but it's my honor to meet Emerson.
Yes.
Likewise.
Because he's like the last great Asian designer that I never got the chance to meet in person.
That's great.
I finally completed my collection.
Wow, it's like Pokemon.
Now,
Yeah, so I mean, I was just happy just to talk to Emerson about, because even like say Asian representation amongst European or North American, there's not that many where you can actually see like Asian last names or first names. So congrats for being one of the Asian game designers that people around the world look up to.
recognize.
Yeah.
Century
you.
Spice,
That's-
Reef.
Yep.
I love those.
Daryl's being very, very generous. Thank you, Daryl. It's an absolute honor to meet you as well. And I know we've met at some point before. You look so familiar.
Sure, I mean, I'm sure you've been to SN and Gen Con, and I also go to those events, so probably pass.
It was probably at a Gen Con, I bet.
So great. So, bright future ahead? Bright future? You agree we have a bright
Yeah,
future?
I mean, even just having an event like this, I think it's already more than I expected, say like 1 or 2 years back. And it's really about just creating a space where people can fail and create their own image of what future they want to create. Because it's not for us to create, it's really for the people who enjoy the games and then the creators who are watching these people play the games now, and then they are seeing what people like, and they will adjust their games to fit their market.
Right.
Because that's what I did.
The beauty about the Philippines is that, and this is purely just an insight into the Philippine market, is that the reason there is an upswing in board games is actually a pushback to the fact that we are the most online country in the world. Like 98% of every Filipino is on Facebook, and the pushback is that one, get off your phone, touch some grass, and if you want to enjoy, since people still don't want to go outdoors and play, tumbang preso. Those are the Filipino games where the physical games. So board games is the next best thing. And people are sick and tired of monopoly, so the market has also matured. And I feel that those developments are important.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think it's a mutually exclusive thing. I think you can be both online and offline.
Exactly.
And then being online gives you the ability to appreciate being offline even more.
It's
actually.
true. It's just that families, especially parents, that's how they see it. It's like, my kids, I'm not communicating with them. Let's try a board game. That happens a lot, especially in the middle class in the Philippines.
That's also good that we have this, right? And it's nice to hear that that's how you see, from your perspective, global perspective, that there's a lot more that we could do. And that's very encouraging I'm sure for all our deciders. Right now they're just busy, but if they can watch this again and hear it, I'm sure they're going to be really encouraged with that one.
Actually, just recently, I learned a Filipino card game. It's Tongit.
Tongits.
Tongits.
Yes, Tongits.
Yeah, it's very similar to Mahjong.
Yes.
Kind of
yes.
mahjong.
It's like mahjong with cards.
Yes.
But actually, it's a much, like, if you look at game design theory, it's much better design than Mahjong, actually. Because,
Now let's deconstruct.
I mean, because I feel very close to Filipinos because I grew up with like Filipina nannies, and so that's one of the first games I actually learned because nannies teach me how to play.
Yeah, one of the actions is
not
your
sure if
last
they're supposed to be
name.
teaching like a kid how to play gambling games, but I mean these are the experiences that I have as a kid, like playing all these traditional games and then kind of making them better as I become a game designer.
Yes, build up on it. Okay, sir, we learned a lot. Do you have any that you can share? New games that people will look forward to? Any new projects? Any you decided to? What? I'm sure you have. You're working on some.
I'm working on
The ones that you can say.
Oh man, this is tough because I work with a lot of different IPs, and for those IPs, I can't.
Under pain of NDA.
Yes, I'm under the pain of NDA.
Or maybe you could hide it like what kind of game, worker placement, something to look forward to.
Oh, okay. So one of the things I'm working on an IP right now that is exactly 2 players. So it's a game that can only be played with 2 players.
Is your first time doing a 2-player game?
Yes, this is the first time I'm actually doing a
Something to
game
look
for
forward to.
Yeah, it's for exactly 2 players.
When will the release
It's
be?
based
This
on
year? Not yet.
So it'll be announced this year.
Okay, be
It's gonna
announced this year. Something to look forward to.
Yes, something to look forward to. Yeah.
It's interesting, exciting.
So I don't have any NDA, so I can talk. I can talk freely.
I can say everything.
But I want to plug some games because one of the games is a game that I designed with Nico, and it'll be could be the first like Philippine Singapore co-design.
Collaboration.
And that's actually one thing that I really put in effort to go to different countries and design games with designers from different countries, because I feel like when I work with a designer, I almost kind of like learn about how they think, and then I can add that to my tool set as well. So So it's a game about putti, you know, like the.
Put the ghost, the
Yes,
putti.
the-
Okay.
So it's a very cool concept. So you're going into a haunted house and you need to work together to to remember where different doors are. Like you have to flip different doors to escape the house. But actually, you have a phase in which you can actually get to look at the cards first, and then you can actually put markings on the doors to remember how and to give clues about how to get out later on in the
trying to
escape phase. So that's one in our new series of cube boxes, and then
We beat it.
actually after Emerson beat it, we changed it. So
Damn it.
so it's actually
I gotta change it now.
so
It's gonna be black.
so it's harder now.
He's spiting me.
Yeah. And then there's another game design that I just completed with Christian Osby from Norway.
Okay.
So that will be our big box game. So both of them will be aiming for SN release this year.
Oh
wow.
So that's our first Norway Singapore co-production and our first Philippines Singapore co-production.
So cool. So we have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, historical firsts are happening.
And and it's nice that people are now starting to collaborate with the Asian market, and they can see that we really have good designers. We have really good ways of designing our games, and it's hopefully we're gonna see.
And it's
it
a fresh
more out there.
perspective,
Yes.
which is something that something that an industry that is filled with deck building but blank needs.
Yeah, because me personally, that's what I do. I came here, I was looking for something that I did not play before,
Exactly.
or a new mechanic but with a different twist. Because at some point, you just see, okay, there's another tile placement, there's another tableau building, another worker place. What else can you do with worker placement? Nothing anymore. And then you find small gems, and that's the fun part. We call it here budol, where you find a gem and then you share it to everyone else, and then they start buying it.
Yeah, it comes from the idea of the Russian scam, if you're familiar with that. The Russian scam is essentially, supposedly, someone approaches you and then they ask you to withdraw money. And then you just get hypnotized and then you do what they say. And then next thing you know, you gave your life savings to this person, they leave, and then there's like, what did I just do?
Yeah, now translate
So,
that into
so the
board
Russian
games.
scam, as one word in Tagalog, is
Budol.
budol.
We call it budol. So that's why, and it's nice to see Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Taiwan. They have the games that you're looking for. It's not the typical ones that you're gonna be seeing in the mass market. You're gonna have your cultural flavor with it. You're gonna support local designers also and Asian designers. So, hey, it's all a win-win. So it's nice to see. So, anybody want to ask them questions?
Feel free to ask questions.
from our crowd. Anything?
You don't be shy. We're all close now after.
Yeah, the
this
last
beer.
chance for a whole year you'll be regretting.
And then you're gonna.
You didn't ask the
them
question.
again.
I have a question for someone in the audience.
Okay.
Hey, Nico, what did you make a change to your game because of me?
Puti.
Emerson completely destroyed my game.
I didn't destroy it. I just solved it.
For a few days, I did not know what to do with my life.
But actually, that was a problem that I put back into the game because I wanted people to. So actually, the game didn't have that problem previously. So you weren't actually allowed to change the markings on the cards. So I added that because I wanted players to feel like they have more agency. So just taking away that fixed the game back.
Okay.
We were able to figure out, well, I hope you can try it and hopefully you don't break it again the second time. But we were able to figure out what was wrong because it didn't have the problem in the first iteration. So I thought what changed, and then we kind of reverse engineered it, and then okay, this is what happened. So,
Okay,
yes,
I was
that
just afraid you were doing it to spite me.
No. No. But it's definitely better that you found it before we put it out.
Yeah, together with a couple of other changes we wanted to implement, because it's quite rare. I mean, I love doing cross-country design, but the hard part is you can only really progress the most when you're together in the same country.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys something? If anyone wants to ask for your opinions on their games, help with the design, they can ask you today, right? If they see you around, well, it's fine.
Absolutely, and
Yeah,
I
sure.
believe it's going to be, there's a game design workshop at 4 o'clock tomorrow that I'll be running.
Oh wow!
Oh, there you go.
Yes, I believe it's in,
It's
please
right
correct
there.
me if I'm wrong. Nico, correct me if I'm wrong. It's in
Nico.
conference room F, I believe.
All right,
Yes, it's
conference
right
room
here.
F.
Conference room
4
F.
p.m. tomorrow.
4 p.m.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Wow.
Bring your ideas. Bring, if you have prototypes, bring your prototypes. If you just have an idea, you can bring that too.
I think I need to talk to you because I have this idea in my head. but
Absolutely.
I have zero game mechanic experience.
Yes, absolutely.
The best
That's what
part about tomorrow, it's free.
it's free, absolutely.
They just have to register, go there, and then they can meet you and talk to you and pick your brain on how they can do their game design.
And actually,
Exactly.
I mean, speaking about free, one of the things that I always tell the Asian board game festivals all over the world to do is to keep entrance free.
Yeah.
Because it's really, I mean, of course, we are very welcoming to gamers, but it's really to grow the hobby and to get gamers to bring their friends. And if there's a charge, usually you only get gamers to come
Yes.
in. So the moment you don't have that charge, I think that's when people curious about the hobby, they'll be like, hey, why not? We're free, just go down,
Yeah.
take a look.
It's
We have
easier to bring them to...
no commitment, just
Yeah.
come out, just take a look at
Yeah.
the themes,
They have
the
fun too.
artwork. Yeah.
Sir, anyone else? Sir
Any
Ron?
other ones who want to ask anything?
Questions? Now's the time. Can you sign my copy of... See, Century's better. I have discussion with them about Century.
Or maybe I can ask you a question, you can ask me a question.
All right, sure.
How how influenced are you by Japanese design, if at all?
Actually, yes. I am particularly interested in Japanese design for some of the reasons I mentioned, where I think that different markets have different design philosophies, right? So, and because of that, there's definitely a different way, different design patterns that I see. So I'm always curious. What I really like is that there are some games that are very, very specific in terms of Japanese culture. But I think that there's some really interesting mechanisms that you can learn from it and expand it into like other themes, other markets.
Yeah, so one of the things that, I mean, we can't have a panel about Asian board game design and not talk about Japanese game design, because that's really the one, I mean, if I had to pick a country that really impresses me for the innovation, I won't even pick Germany anymore. I will pick Japan. And I go to all the game markets. I've been to all game markets for like the last since COVID. And I really make a point to go to all of the events just to try all the games. And I mean, the funny thing is the games actually sell very well in game market are not necessarily the games that I like to play. But there are many hidden gems that are just like a tweak away from being like almost like a
hit.
like a classic,
A
like
classic,
a hit.
yeah.
And it's the one place that if I really want to get inspiration, if I'm like feeling drained or if I'm feeling jaded from like seeing all of the industry churn, I just go to any game market and then I'm refreshed immediately. So like I design games with Sashi, and I translate. I've translated maybe over 100 games from Japanese to English as well. So that's the way that I try to keep abreast of like what's going on in the Japanese game industry. Because to me, being an Asian game designer, I think that's the one place you can always look to for inspiration. So that's why I asked you that question.
So actually, there's something that's tangential to this. Is that one area that I get some inspiration from is actually video games, right?
Of course.
So there's a lot of video game developers that don't know much about board games. There are video game companies that do have a lot of experience with board games, but a lot of them they don't delve into it. So the way they design their video games, right? Oftentimes I see like interesting mechanics in that space. Now, it's interesting because they're under a different set of constraints, right?
Correct.
So they can include as much complexity as they want. They just hide it all in code, right? And they just wow the people with Unreal Engine graphics and things like that. But if you look under the covers, there's some really interesting systems in those video games that could be really interesting mechanics in a tabletop game. So I get actually a lot of inspiration, especially like indie games.
Of
Yes,
course.
right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
indies are not afraid to.
Yes, to
Yes,
push and
exactly.
try everything and
Yeah,
push
exactly,
and do.
exactly. So they don't always translate into it, but sometimes just in the process of trying to translate it, you can come up with something really, really interesting
Yes.
that way.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I can remember Slay the Spire is one of the
Yeah,
recent
right,
ones.
right, exactly.
Slay the Spire. There's another one that I personally like, but your mileage may vary. Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight,
They
yeah.
also
Dead by
did,
Daylight. I like the asymmetric gameplay.
Yeah.
Hey, are you the one did Metal Gear?
Yeah, I did the
Oh,
Metal
it's
Gear
in there.
Solid game, so
There you go.
Metal Gear is
Yeah.
also that one. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of. They say there's some similarities, but sometimes the difficulty is how you translate it to cardboard.
right, yes.
There's a big gap that they have to cross or find a bridge so that it would all connect. But
Yes, yeah. It's something that we can't, when you're creating a tabletop game, you have nowhere to hide the complexity.
yes,
There's absolutely nowhere you can't hide it under the rug, you can't hide it under the playmat, right? Everything is
it's exposed.
transparent.
It's right there.
Well, some
right
have
there,
tried
yeah.
by using apps,
Yes, although I think
but that there's a lot of friction there.
there's
that I
a lot
feel.
of friction there, exactly. So we try as much as possible not to include any technology.
Like
Well, at least-
forcing you to use it.
Exactly,
yeah,
to
yeah.
force the technology, because then it's something that's where I think a lot of that friction comes, is actually having the technology be mandatory.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So my personal philosophy has always been, you can have technology, but make it something that enhances the experience rather than something that's absolutely necessary
Right,
for
that's
it.
true. Can I ask one more question? You mentioned that you're learning from cultures and everything else. Is there, since you interacted with some of our designers, did you learn any new way of designing or way of thinking from the Filipino designers, or even from the other countries that kind of influenced you or gave you an inspiration for that one?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, whoever goes first. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly inspired by Japanese game mechanics, because those are the ones that are really out there. Like they're just throwing stuff at the wall and trying to make it stick.
Sticks.
But I mean, even if they don't have the polish, they have the ideas, and that gets me thinking, because I think the one thing that I've learned over my many years in the industry now is just how to polish games. I think that's the one thing that you will learn if you spend many years in the industry. I mean, the ability to come up with ideas, I think that is quite individual, and that is probably more of a talent thing, I think. But the ability to polish games, I think that comes with experience. And I think that's, because I think we talk about this, like where do you want to see the industry go to? I think we want people to be able to get these skills and to polish the games to a standard where people overseas can see them, and they will be a world class, basically at a standard that international people expect when they pick up games. And they'll be like, oh, this is missing, this is missing. Having this experience takes time though.
Good. Sir?
So when it comes to, I'm going to call out Rob. He was just here a moment ago, but
Ron?
yeah.
Okay.
So one of the designs that I playtested of his, it's a really interesting game. Well, maybe I shouldn't be talking about his design, but basically I got some his perspective on how to tackle a particular theme was really, really interesting. And that's sort of like an example of how being in a different market, being in a different culture, you will look at one theme from a different angle, right?
Yeah.
So the mechanics of it were it wasn't what I was expecting. So, for instance, with this particular theme, in my head, I already have a bias, right? I'm already thinking, oh, this game should have this,
Yeah.
right? It should have these elements. It should be deck building here, things like that. But for designers who don't have that sort of preconceived notion, right, you're going to get more interesting combinations of mechanics there.
That's the one that you were talking about earlier with the freshness of this
Right, exactly.
new market. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's nice. At least we also get new ideas from you people. And of course, they have inspiration from you guys, of course. So there you go. Any other
questions,
More
guys?
people
Come on.
want to ask?
This is really your chance to ask questions. But if not, you know who they are. You can always approach them. Or tomorrow, there will be a workshop on game design, 4 p.m., right?
4 p.m.
4
Conference F.
Conference F.
Conference F, and it's free.
Also, the game booth is right here as well, but we don't have any games left actually. Sold out.
Sold out.
Sold out already.
Wow. All right, so if you guys want to talk to them some more, maybe later if you run into them, I'm sure they're going to entertain you. If you have any ideas, Sir Emerson was saying tomorrow you can bring it, or maybe later if they can find you, 4 p.m. tomorrow. But thank you very much for this panel. We learned a lot, especially an encouragement to all the Asian designers out there.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
There's a lot
Thank
to
you
look
so
forward
much.
to. Thank you very much.
Come on, guys. Let's give them
Guys,
a round
give
of
it a hand.
applause for being amazing resource speakers here today.